Hey, welcome everybody to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show. This is Steve Ray coming to you live from the studios here of Owl's Nest Barbecue Franchise. Hey, it's that time. It's that time. Are you ready? Are you as ready as I am?
Go
Tennessee,
ball.
South Carolina. You hang on. You're not ready yet. Tennessee, South Carolina, coming up this Saturday night at 7:30 on the SEC network. And I tell you what, everybody in this area of the country is ready to go, and I'm sure you are ready to go wherever you live too for the football season that is coming up. I can say welcome everybody. We got a great show lined up for you. One of the greatest guests that I've ever had. I want to go over a few things with you, a couple of announcements, a couple of cool things that are going on real quick. First of all, the broadcast partner tonight, as always, Backyard Smokers Barbecue. You can find them on Facebook. Man, 100,000 people belong to this Facebook page. Anything that has to do with barbecue, if you have questions, Backyard Smokers Barbecue on Facebook is the place you want to go. I thank Wes Phillips and all the gang there for sharing this broadcast with all the members. And I hope the members will watch, and I hope you like it. And I've got a special announcement too. Let's see, I'm going to turn this down just a skosh. This Sunday night on the Backyard Smokers Barbecue Facebook page, at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Wes Phillips says, join us live in the group for Season 1 competitor, James Grubbs of the American Barbecue Showdown. Did you see that show? Did you watch that show, the American Barbecue Showdown on Netflix? James Grubbs is the guy that kept losing, but he did just enough to beat the last person. So he just did just enough, and he made it, I think, till number 4 or number 5 or something like that. But he did really good. He lives just down the street around Jasper, Georgia. He lives on some mountain down there. And I've talked with him a couple times by telephone. We're going to get him on the show in a future date. Really a neat competitor. And he's going to be on a live group session on the Backyard Smokers Barbecue page this Sunday night at 7. So go to the Backyard Smokers Barbecue page, and you can see James Grubbs live and in person. You can ask him questions about the American Barbecue Showdown. Also, you remember last week, let me put this over here. Last week I had Ken Smith from Nashville on. I think I'm getting some dropouts. Hang on, let me fix this real quick. I can fix this. Hang on just a second. I had on Ken Smith was on the show last week, and he does a podcast called Faces to Places, and his episode 2 is up now. So wherever you get your podcast information, go to Faces to Places and listen to episode 2 of Ken's podcast. He goes out to a barbecue restaurant out in West Tennessee, and they do whole hog the old timey way, where they shovel the coals directly under the hog. And if Ken's got anything to do with it, I guarantee you it'll be very, very interesting. Matt Pittman posted a good question this week on Facebook. The guys at Hub, Helping You Barbecue, that's a store in somewhere in Nebraska. I think it's close where Matt lives. Matt Frampton, I'm sorry, not Matt Pittman, Matt Frampton. He says they've got a hot debate going. What is your go-to dessert, and what pairs the best with barbecue? Now, well, I mean, you just think about that for just a minute. It's got to be banana pudding. I mean, how could you? What else in the world would you think of that pairs the best with barbecue? But I thought that is a good. And if you've got a Howard, Jeff, if you guys got a guess, put it in there. Put it in the chat, and y'all can talk about it during the show. I want to thank my buddy Jeff Maxwell for being back at the remote studios, monitoring the chat, as he always does, and we appreciate him doing that for sure. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do now. We're not going to wait. We're not going to wait any longer. We're going to go to the big board right now, and I'm going to tell you something. We got a special guy here. There he is. You know who that is. Craig VERHAGE, the barbecue ninja himself. Craig, what's up? How you doing?
And Steve, it is awesome to be here. It's always awesome to talk barbecue. And you had me fired up when you started talking Vols football,
Yeah,
SEC.
yeah.
I know I was in the background. I was, talking. You were like, time out, hang on. I was like, man, you can't put a pause button on me and talk SEC and Vol football now. Uh,
All the great ones can't wait to talk, Craig. See, that's another connection, and we're probably related. Um, Verhaga, that's an unusual last name. What is it?
yeah.
Is that Viking?
It is Dutch. Yeah,
Dutch, not Viking.
my
Dutch.
grandfather on my dad's side, obviously, he came from Holland to the United States. So,
Okay.
yeah, very much.
All right. That's I thought it was something like that. Is that Scandinavia? Dutch?
Uh,
Holland? That's Holland, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Holland,
that's
sure
up
is.
that's close. Sweden, Holland, they're all Norway.
And it's been mispronounced and misspelled every way you can possibly imagine
Well,
every day of my
it's Verhaga, right?
Braga, right?
Verhaga,
Right. That's it.
Verhaga. Yeah, yeah. That's not hard. Malcolm pronounced it right. Malcolm can do it.
We practiced on that all day long. So,
We're going to talk about that episode here in just a little bit. He was educated at he's from Cleveland, Mississippi. Craig Verhaga is the barbecue ninja, educated at Delta State University,
yeah, go
home of the
Statesman.
Statesman. But the most interesting thing about that school mascot is the Statesman is the official name, but what is the unofficial mascot of Delta State? The Fighting what?
The Fighting Okra.
The Fighting Okra. Can you believe that? The
What the kids
Fighting
call.
Okra.
Yeah, that is it.
It's more popular than the Statesman down there, isn't it?
Yeah, that actually that came up. I was probably 2 3 years before I got to Delta State, and Statesman, cool dude, all
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah, yeah.
no frills, no thrills there with that particular mascot. So they came up, of course, green being the color of the school,
Mm-hmm.
and the Fighting Okra came up. I tell you, it's pretty cool. If people get a chance, they can go to YouTube and type in the Delta State Fighting Okra, because they came out with some really funny commercials
Yeah.
a year or two ago. So,
The,
yeah,
the
it
Fighting
worked.
Okra. And who is y'all's? What's y'all's arch rival down there?
Mississippi College,
Yeah, Mississippi College.
MC, in-state rivalry.
Delta State was a powerhouse in Division II for a while, back in the
Yeah,
early 2000s. I
yeah,
remember it
we
well. Remember it well.
Yeah, we've done well. Our athletics are, women's basketball's won 6 national championships, and football is
Hmm.
has been there many years. I was just out of school, won a national championship. Baseball's won a national championship, and they're a powerhouse every year. So yeah, and we just had Deion Sanders come to Jackson State,
Hmm. Head
in
coach.
in-state head coach now. So hopefully we're gonna line up on the field with Dion. So we'll see how that turns out.
That would be, how cool would that be? That
Oh,
would just be
oh,
too cool. Other
yeah.
than Craig Verhaga, the most famous Delta State University attendee is who? Who would you
I would
say?
have. I would say it was a women's basketball player called Lucia Harris. She played back. She actually played for the Harlem Globetrotters, but she played, back years ago when they won. I think they won 3 or 4 national championships when she was here.
Hmm.
She actually was. I want to say she was the first female to play NBA basketball, or pro basketball, should I say. It may not have been the NBA at the time.
Wasn't
So,
she the one that played in some preseason games? I think she was. I think she was drafted or something.
yeah,
Something. There's
yeah,
a
that's right.
story, but a very interesting story,
Yeah, it
to say
is.
the
It is.
least. But you're
Yeah.
wrong. You're wrong about that anyway. About the most famous person. The most famous attendee at Delta State University, formerly
Yeah.
Delta State Teachers College, is one John Grisham.
Yes, yes. He was very famous
Hmm.
one.
Yes, he is. He transferred from Delta State to Mississippi State, where he was graduated, and then attended Ole Miss Law School, where he
Mhm.
graduated in 1981. This famous attorney author penned, among many books, A Time to Kill and The Firm. His books are set mostly in the South. The movies made from his books have made him a gazillion dollars and are filled with actors that really have bad fake Southern accents. You ever met John Grisham?
I have not. I've been at seminars and stuff where he's spoken, but I've never, you know, gone up and introduced myself. So, but
John Barbecue Ninja, how you doing?
hey, John.
The Barbecue Ninja. The Barbecue Ninja. Let's throw on a whole hog. I'll stay all night. We'll talk all night. Can you imagine talking all night to John Grisham? How cool would that be?
That would be real cool for sure.
All right, we're gonna first thing we're gonna do is and this now you've thrown me completely off base here with our new connection, our Knoxville connection. You and I have passed like ships in the night all of our adult lives, and we didn't even know each other. That's what's so weird about this whole thing. But my first run-in with the Barbecue Ninja was back in 2016 in Nashville. Craig, a friend and I went to Nashville. There was a barbecue contest. This is when I was first getting into contests. It was an MBN KCBS dual match, and we were walking around. And of course, the MBN. If there's an MBN in a KCBS contest, you're going to gravitate to the MBN because what the MBN guys do is it's just bigger.
Yeah,
it is. You can say, yeah, you're an MBN guy. It is. Yeah. It's just bigger. It's the major league. You know, it is the major league of barbecue. And
yeah, it is it's a whole different, you know, thing, and you got to have a whole different preparation, and just keep going with the story.
Bigger rigs, 2 hogs. I mean, it's incredible. So we're there, and we're scoping the place out, and we see that the judges are moving around. We got that figured out. And so I went up to this guy. I had no idea who he was. But the sign said, UBONS barbecue team. He's our guy. So I said, sir, could we watch this? And he said, absolutely. I'm going to take you right over here, and y'all stand here, and y'all watch it. Don't say nothing, but y'all will watch. And you know who that was? Gary Roark, your mentor of UBONS barbecue. And I thought of that story, Craig, when I was listening to your interview with Kevin Standers from a few years ago, when you said that Gary was one of the major influences on your life, a mentor, and he would do anything for anybody. And I thought back to that day, he was so kind and generous to my friend and I. He didn't know us from Adam and let us come in. I mean, he brought us into the camp. And we watched his presentation. We watched him sell that hog to those judges. And you were probably there.
I was definitely there.
Yeah.
Remember that double very well. We were actually a little shorthanded that day, and of course, being shorthanded and having 9 on-site judges and having the turn-ins for the KCBS going on all at the same time, and everything's different times, and it was a day that we were scrambling. And a matter of fact, I think that might have been our first, and that might have been our last
dual
MB and KCBS double to do, because that was a rough day.
Well, I told my buddy, I said, I've got this figured out. What you do, you bring 2 hogs and you cook them. And then you put all the meat in these little boxes, and then you run them over there, you put them in that table, and then they judge them. I had it all mixed up. I had no idea what you did. I thought, I said, man, this is a hard sport. And they said, how are we going to do this? Where are we going to get all these pigs at to cook? But Gary was so nice to us, Craig, and you hit the nail on the head when you said he'd do anything for anybody if he knew you or not, because he didn't know us, and he just said, come on in, you're part of the family now. Great guy.
If anybody would have a question, and that was part of when I first really met him and got to know him. I was on another team. I was on a ragtag team of guys just out of college, and we would show up to a contest, and we would request to be by Gary. Actually, Gary would request to be by us, because he had a lot more influence than we did. And so we would be beside each other, and notoriously we would leave. One time we left dry rub. We didn't have dry rub. and Gary was like, here's mine, use my dry rub. And we wouldn't have a shovel, we wouldn't have a hammer, we wouldn't have zip tie, we wouldn't have garbage bag, just aluminum foil. Gary would have all that here. and he just, whatever you need, let me know. You can have it. And over a couple of years, really getting to know him on the trail like that, and of course he saw that I was passionate about barbecue. I love doing it. I love the people, and I actually went to Delta State with both of his daughters and both of his son-in-laws. So we had that connection. We were actually all there at the same time. But when my team disbanded, and at that age, everybody was getting married, everybody's
Yeah.
having kids, they were going their separate ways, and I still wanted to barbecue. Actually, the last Memphis in May I did with that team, I ended up kind of there by myself in the end. It was one of those when it was time to pack up and it was time to, do that kind of work. There was these strange phone calls. Oh, I got to leave. I got to go. And so I ended up having to kind of pull in friends to help, pack up and get out of there. And before I left that Memphis in May, I was like, yeah, that's it. I can't do this
No,
anymore.
you can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah, trying to keep it together, and that's wasn't a day or two after that. Gary called and he was like, "Hey, in his typical voice, hey, bud, you know."
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
That's all right. Well, Hank, hold that thought. Hold that thought, because what we're going to do, we're gonna start modern day. Then we're going to do this backwards. That's the way I like to do interviews. All
All
right.
right. Good.
Now you're currently the barbecue ninja, and you are all over social media, Facebook, Instagram. You work in this business now, and you're teacher, entertainer. You've got all four corners covered now, Craig. So tell me about the different duties you do as the barbecue ninja, and all the different things you get invited to, and all the neat things that this persona has, what doors it has opened for you.
Well, it's opened a lot of doors, which I'm very thankful for. I guess that's probably. Uh, I'm more thankful of where I am now than anything. I guess good upbringing help that come
Mm-hmm.
about. But yeah, I mean, the social media part is not only a part of my job with Royal Oak, but it's something that I mean, if you're doing cool things, you might as well put it out there and let people see, and let them be engaged in it, and we travel the country during a normal year, which is definitely not that. But and we started, building a friendship or a fan base, so to speak. And so if I got friends in Denver and I'm doing something in New York, they want to, they want to see it and be involved in it.
Absolutely.
And I love to hunt, I love to fish, so I kind of put that out there too. And um, I just love what I'm doing, and I love the people that I get to do it with. I love, the people in barbecue. And I don't take any of it for granted. I think, and each friendship I make, I cherish. But it's been fun. I mean, this is how I've spent my adult life. I've been in barbecue the last 25 years, so I hope to go, knock on wood, 25 more. I hope I'm not getting too far off the subject, or I'm
No,
actually
no,
answering
no,
your
no. You're
question.
doing great, man. What do
But
you do for Royal Oak?
I'm the marketing coordinator for Royal Oak. So we've got our sponsored teams that are
Mm-hmm.
out there in the on the different circuits cooking. I'm over those teams. I make sure that they get their product. I make sure that that I communicate with them. They get their gear. They've got all that. If they've
Mm-hmm.
got questions, I answer their questions. I like to be prompt and getting back with them, and getting them, making them happy. And therefore they like to make us happy. So if we make an ask of them to do content, or cook at one of our plants or one of our retailers, they're happy to do that. So that's a part of my job. I'm over the ambassadors too, so I do the same thing with the ambassadors. I also travel, or supposed to travel these events and
Yeah.
represent Royal Oak, and
Well,
and
it's all different. It's all different right now.
right, and I'm over the sponsorship of the different events throughout the United States. I kind of handle, doing those sponsorships and making those decisions, and I'm the barbecue expert at Royal Oak, so to speak, or
Hmm.
I'm the guy that's got the experience, and so if there's a barbecue related question that a retailer has or that someone internally in the company has, they come to me, and chances are I've been there and done that, or I'm experienced in the area they need to know about, and which is a big thing for a retailer to have a question and they get it answered from somebody that's done that,
Now,
that's been there.
now, do
Uh,
they ever I guess they ask you to go to events and represent them as well, because on all your videos there's always a Royal Oak presence there in them, and you do some really cool things. The chicken wings with the blowtorch is my favorite. How'd you come up with that little shtick? Because that is really clever.
uh, there is a story to that.
I'm sure there is.
And we used to do the Big Apple Barbecue Block Party, and up there in Madison Avenue, and that was always a big thing because here I am, this guy from the Mississippi Delta, and I'm cooking barbecue on Madison Avenue
That's
in
a
New York.
big deal. That's a big deal, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
that
who's who
event,
in this world of barbecue.
right? That event single-handedly established the barbecue culture in New York, and it really reached out worldwide to a
Hmm.
lot of people because of the melting pot of people there in New York. They got exposed to, United States barbecue,
Hmm.
and but we were up there one year, and we were cooking chicken wings that year, and we did butts one year, and but nobody was doing chicken, and so we were like, okay, we'll do chicken wings, and so we got the old hickory pits, and we'd smoke the chicken wings, and then we had the charcoal grills with the Royal Oak charcoal in there, and we were there one morning, and I had the blowtorch actually starting the charcoal,
Hmm.
and I was going down getting the charcoal started with the blowtorch, and I look up and I've got like 10 people videoing me starting charcoal with this blowtorch. So I was like, okay, there's something to, when you light this blowtorch that, people are gravitated to. And in that event, there's always a big line and there's always packed with people. I mean, there's 100,000 people that come through there in 2 days. So there's always people out front and watching what we're doing, and they're real interested in what we're doing. So I was like, hey, we're going to have these chicken wings on the grill right out here in front of them. I might as well just get this blowtorch and just, start caramelizing the sugars on these, on the sauce we put on them. And I started doing that, and, phones whooped out, and, things started happening, and not only did it get the attention, but it made a hell of a chicken wing because of the char it put
Oh, I
on the
bet.
outside
I
of
bet.
it. And so it not only was it a great show, it was also functional in the flavor profile that we put on the chicken. And after I did that, it was like, okay, it's a saying I have: if you're going to be in the circus, you might as well be the monkey. So, you want to be the spectacle, you want to be the show. So I took it on the road when we head to other towns. We rolled a grill out front, and I'd get the blowtorch out, and then I started doing the alligators, caramelizing the sauce on the outside of the alligators, and that's a double spectacle.
Yeah. Now
So
let's talk about that alligator. You were speaking to Kevin
mhm.
about I referred to you as like a modern day Crocodile Dundee. You tell us
I'm just a redneck, man. I'm just a
tell
redneck.
well, he was an Australian redneck. I mean, who just happened to own half of the outback. So tell us about when you actually go hunt and hunt
Yeah.
alligators. Tell us the difference between the way you do it and the way we've seen it on television. Those guys on TV do it,
Okay. All right. Yeah. And matter of fact, when I do,
because this is
uh,
part of the barbecue ninja aura, the alligator thing.
well,
This is great.
it, and whenever I do an alligator cooking, the first thing I like to ask the crowd or ask the people that are there or the class that I'm doing it for is have you ever seen swamp people? And a lot of people are like, yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
swamp people. Your
absolutely.
hands go up, and yeah, they've seen it. And I'm like, well, that's not how I alligator. hunt. You know, they actually fish for alligators. They go and hang lines and they put bait on the hook, and then they leave the lines overnight and they come back the next day and the alligator has swallowed the bait and the hook is stuck in their stomach. So they really know where they can go,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, they do what they do. You see it on TV. I said, we go out at night and we have Q beams, you know, high powered lights, and we go across the water and their eyes reflect. So when we see a reflection of the eyes, you know, I'm on the front of the boat, so I get the trolling motor, and you try to get, you know, 20, 30 yards from the alligator, because I've got a snag rod with braided line on it. It's got a treble hook.
How big's that
So
hook? How big's a treble hook for an alligator?
it's no bigger than my hand, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like that. And so, you know, I'll throw it at the eyes, go over the back of the alligator, and then reel it in. And when you feel it bump, you snatch the rod and you set the hook in the alligator's hide, and then you hang on, because you don't know really at that point. You don't know
Hang
at that
on.
point if you got a 6 foot alligator or you got a 12 foot alligator, but you kind of figure it out really quick by how much line it starts taking and how much pull it's got. And so you basically, you know, hang on to that alligator for, it can be hours. The longest we've ever had one was probably 2.5 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And because sometimes they'll go to the bottom and they'll sit on the bottom, and you just, and when they do that, that's when we've got a bigger treble hook and a throw line, and you throw it out and you drag the bottom to try to get the bigger, because
Mm-hmm.
really the first pole is just to give you a guide to hang on.
Get his attention.
Yeah, and then when he goes to the bottom, that's when you get the deep sea rods, and you get the throw line, and you get them in him or her and get it to the top. And once you pull it to the top, it'll do the death roll. And once it does the death roll, man, that thing is done. It is spent and it's tired. And we put a noose around its nose, electrical tape,
Mm-hmm.
and then harvest it.
And
You
then you
know.
haul it in the boat.
Now
Is it,
the
or do you drag it on the side of the boat?
the particular place I hunt is a smaller area, so we don't have to pull it into the boat.
Mm-hmm.
We can keep it on the side of the boat
Yeah.
and bring it to the boat landing, and then we usually have side by sides there with winches, and we tie winches to it and winch it up out of the water, and you know, and take it that way. And then you know, I got to do the whole process. I mean, after that, I clean the alligator, I process the meat, you know, and then in the very end, I cook it and eat it.
Well,
So
back up, back up, back up. Everybody's wanting to know, what's the biggest alligator you've ever harvested?
we've brought one in that was 11 feet 6 inches, and that was the biggest one so far.
11
That,
feet, 11 feet 6 inches.
mhm.
That's from me to the wall, a half again.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
it's a big dude.
now those guys, that torso, those things get about what, about that wide? I mean, they're big, aren't they?
They can now. The ones that we hunt, they're healthy. I think they get to feed on a lot of fish. The lake that we harvest the alligator, it's very plentiful. Plus, there are deer all around it, and you
They eat
know
deer.
they eat deer. They'll eat you.
Hey, my only Discovery Channel moment concerning alligators was I was at Hilton Head one time, and I had to leave before the family, so I got up early and I climbed in the Jeep, and there was this family, and I don't know if you've ever been to Hilton Head, all these canals run through it, and this family was standing by a canal, and they had a leash, but no dog, and they're all crying. And you know what happened?
Oh yeah.
Muffy got down to the water, and pow, and then she was gone. So
Yeah, with us, if we ever have a guest or anything, I tell them rule number one: stay in the boat. Don't fall out of the boat. So when you're out of the boat, you're on their territory, and that's not good, because they're going to win that battle every time.
so, boy, we could do 4 shows on alligators, But let's go to the Malcolm Reed, because everybody that watches this show, I'm sure they watch Malcolm. And I remember when I watched that video I posted on Malcolm's page, and I know he doesn't read it all that, because there's, every page got 5,000 comments, and I just put on there best video ever, period. When y'all did that, what was the brain? Who had the brainchild to cook and smoke an alligator on his show? Because it was fantastic.
Yeah, Malcolm and I go a long way back. Malcolm and I have known each other, on this barbecue trail for, gosh, it's been 15 to 20 years. We've been great friends. We kind of lost touch for a little while, but now, of course, he's an ambassador for Royal Oak, and we kind of got back in touch through that, and I guess it was a mutual thing more than anything. Malcolm's like, hey, I got this show, and I was like, hey, I got this show, cooking an alligator, and he was like, well, we need to do that. You need to come on,
bring our shows together.
Right, and because Malcolm, he's a true 100% quintessential barbecue guy. Malcolm wanted to know how to do that more than anything. He wanted to know how to cook an alligator. I mean, he was, and for me to go on a show and to be able to teach him something, teach him anything was a wonderful opportunity. And of course, we just had a blast that day. I mean, it's just two barbecue guys just, doing what they do, having fun what they do, and of course, Mark Williams, he was there, and we actually cooked on his outlaw, and it was a great day. It was a wonderful day. And then we did a podcast, afterwards, and kind of wrapped it all up that way. But it was kind of both of us, really. We talked about it. We actually had the date set before COVID. We had a date set back 1st of April, and then that happened, and we just kind of pushed it back, and we finally said, all right, this is when we're going to do it. So I was doing another event in New York, and I was having to go up and stay in South Haven or Horn Lake, where he lives. And I said, let's do it that day. I got to stay there that night. So we did, and it turned out great.
Well, that's great. We're talking with Craig VERHAGE, the Barbecue Ninja, coming to you live from Cleveland, Mississippi, down in the Delta area. It was a great video, and I learned so much, and the way y'all dissected that thing, and you showed all the different parts of meats that were edible, and the chicken in the mouth was just, you guys.
That was Malcolm.
Yeah, you guys were just having too much fun. But before you were the Barbecue Ninja, before you were Craig VERHAGE, barbecue guy, what got you started in barbecue? What age, and what got you down the path to where you are now?
Well, it was like I said earlier, it was a bunch of ragtag guys out of college that thought we could cook barbecue, but we knew we could have a good time, and that was what we were after or in search of, and gonna accomplish.
Yeah, but go back farther than that, Craig. I'm talking like out of high school. Did you do barbecue when you were in high school? Before, when you were a kid, were you into barbecue?
Yeah, well, I mean, my whole life I've been attracted to the grill. I told you earlier, I'm the youngest of 5 boys, and a family of 7. So when I was growing up, my dad had a green PK grill. I remember that very well. And but when he brought the grill out, it was always a special occasion at my house. Other than that, it was a big pot of spaghetti, it was a big pot of soup, it was a big pot of something. We're feeding 7 people. But when the grill came out, it was usually a birthday, a holiday, somebody did good on a report card, or, it was a special time. And I knew when that grill came out when I was a kid, my dad was fixing to, do some special things, and I was right there. I wanted to see it. I wanted to be the kid running in, getting the pan with the meat in it. I wanted to be the one go get his beers when he wanted to have a beer. I was that runner the whole time. So, I've just always been one to hang out in the kitchen and watch my grandmother and my grandfather cook. So,
did you work in restaurants in high school? Were you one of those guys that kicked around the kitchens?
I bartended in college,
Uh-huh.
but I was not I cut grass when I was in high school,
Yep.
so that's why I hate to do that to this day. But my grandfather on my dad's side, this Dutch, he was a wonderful cook. My grandmother on my mom's side was a wonderful cook. And, my dad was a great cook. My mom was a great cook. So it was just something that I did. And I was the one, when both my parents worked. So when they wanted something cooked for the night, they'd call me, the youngest one.
Yeah.
They'd say, hey, get some hamburger brown for the hamburger helper. We always had a lot of
Yeah.
hamburger helper
I
growing up.
like hamburger
But
helper. It's good.
yeah, I love it. I love it too. But yeah. So but that growing up was something I was definitely very attentive when Dad rolled the grill out. I was right there. I wanted to be a part of that.
So let's your team has disbanded.
Yeah.
Gary Roark has called you, and you come under his tutelage. Did you work at UBONS in Yazoo City?
I did not.
Okay.
Yazoo City from where I am is about an hour and a half
Hmm.
drive from where I am. Now I have worked in there before just to help
Yeah.
and do some things, but that restaurant is run by TT. And if you ever go on one of their lives and see her, you'll know she's the boss at Ubon's. But no, Gary and I just naturally, and you got to experience his personality and his persona and all that. You gravitate to that. And when he called and wanted me to be a part and to cook with him, that was a no-brainer to me.
Now he was
I
already legendary. He wasn't an up and comer.
No,
He was.
no.
It'd be like Derek Jeter saying, "Hey, Craig, come on, will you play first base for me?"
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think 2 years or either 2 years or 3 years before that, won the Shoulder World Championship at Memphis in May. So, I mean, it was an opportunity for me to learn barbecue from a world champion
Yeah.
pitmaster. So,
And I guess you just absorbed everything he told you.
everything. I was on his side. If everything he did besides go to the bathroom, I was right there.
Hmm.
I can tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, his grandson Jacob is coming up in barbecue, and he's gonna be, or I say gonna be. I mean, he's already a superstar. He's been on stage at Memphis in May already, but and he's cooked at the James Beard House. He's only like 16 years old, so he's a definite up and comer. But to be able to do that and not only be a part of his cooking, but also be a part of his family. And that's I've spent more time with the Roark family than I have my blood family through my adult life on this barbecue trail. And one of our sayings at Ubon's is we take our front porch wherever we go, and you've
You got that
experienced.
right.
And we mean that. And you just come on in, come in, walk up, and we'll talk to you. If you got questions about barbecue, we'll talk to you about barbecue. Or you just want to talk about your kids in school, we'll talk about that too. And Gary's gonna, when he was here, he'd make you a drink and set you down, and he'd let you know where if you ever see us anywhere in the future, come on over.
Now,
You know.
now you're 49 years old, and you were trained in barbecue by one of the greatest ever, and you've got a job now in the industry, working for Royal Oak Charcoal. Is this where you always envisioned yourself wanting to be, Craig, being a spokesman, sort of a spokesman, an employee of a large multi-billion-dollar company, and to have a persona that literally draws thousands of people to you in live events and social media? Are you living the barbecue dream?
I'm pinching myself right now because it's what I wanted to do. It's where I wanted to be eventually. I wanted to be in barbecue full time for 25 years. I had an insurance business. And thank goodness I was my own boss. It afforded me the time to be able to take time to travel and do barbecue. But I was doing both for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'd leave the insurance business, I'd go to barbecue, and then I come back to the insurance business. I never really had a break in there much at all. And one thing about the insurance business, you never leave it. And I'd always worry about a storm coming through or somebody's house burning while I was on the road, and
Yeah.
it actually happened a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
like 2 years ago. And then when this came about, and this offer from Royal Oak came to me, it was time. It was time to make that move. It
Yeah.
was time to go full time into barbecue. And it's one of those things that don't ask for it if you're not ready to get it. And I asked for it, and it was right in front of me, and I was ready. I was more than ready. And what a wonderful company, and a family-owned company that is very aggressive now in their marketing. And to be a part of that is, like I said, I pinch myself. I'm a blessed man.
They did an event. I don't know if it was last year or the year before in Atlanta, where they invited all their sponsored teams,
Yeah,
ambassador teams. Um,
I was there. Yeah,
yeah. Oh gosh.
Royal Oak Invitational.
Yep. But my buddy in up in Kingston, I'll think of his name in a minute. He came. He went to that thing and told us it was like they had never been treated as well as Royal Oak treated them. That
Right.
contest. What made that so special?
Well, and part of my job, I'm over that event now. That
Oh,
is
okay.
that's my baby. Mike Shore established that event, and he did an outstanding job. But the whole premise behind that event is for Royal Oak to show their appreciation to the teams and the hard work they do throughout the year. And it's also the goal of Royal Oak to show its employees, appreciation too. But it's also good for the employees to see where their hard work goes to. That
Mm-hmm.
charcoal that is burning in these guys' pits out here is fruits of their labor. That's kind of where, you know, when you're making that phone call and you're doing that work, that's where it ends up. It ends up in that pit, and it ends up producing a wonderful product. And they got to be a part of that and experience that. But yeah, Mike Shore did such a wonderful job at that event, showing the appreciation to the teams, because it was basically, you show up and everything was taken care of.
It
You
was
basically had to get there and get home. Everything in between was taken care of. The meat, the hotel rooms, the everything.
it
I
was
mean,
Jeff Thompson,
Jeff
River
Tom,
River
yeah,
Road Grill Billies, right up the street.
man, love those people. They are some
I tell you,
awesome
you
people.
impressed the heck out of them. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I mean, they're so great, such great people, man. I want to hug them right now. I miss them so much.
I guarantee you. I believe if he ran out of Royal Oak, he would gather pine cones before he would use anything else. he, he, he is
Yeah,
he is a dedicated guy to your company now, and
well,
what great folks. I mean, they're a great team too.
they're wonderful, wonderful people, and that's what we're doing now at Royal Oak. We're showing more of a lifestyle. We're showing more of a family atmosphere. Hey, we're all on the same team. Yeah, we compete on any given weekend, and we're out to win. But at the end of the day, we're all on the same team, and we're
Yeah,
all have the same goal, and that's to promote them. And that's a big goal of mine is I want to promote these teams, and if they have a product, I want to promote that just as much as I ask them to promote us as
hmm
Royal Oak. So it's a big cross branding or cross pollinating, however you want to look at it, opportunity for all of us. I mean, we're all in this together, and so um, that's really a big goal of mine is to really bring that family, that Gary Roark, family
yeah.
gathering together
Here,
thing. So
when 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 the barbecue ninja shows up, there's a front porch behind you.
that's it.
Well,
Yeah.
I know COVID has curtailed some events and probably your activities, but before the COVID, how busy is the barbecue ninja? Do you ever get pulled in different directions and feel like I can't possibly make all these, or are you still so enthusiastic that you can't wait to make all these events? Because I'm sure you're somewhere every weekend, and then you got to
I,
work Monday through Friday too.
yeah, I cannot wait to be at these events. It's the people, it's the friends, it's the friendship. It's that feeds me. That gives me
Hmm.
the will to really get after it and to go and that was another thing with this new job that I was, that's what they want me to do. They want me to be active. They want me to go out and to gather content and to be at events and to they want that and so I mean I was this year I was going to be super busy, but you know other plans. So 2021, I'm going to be super busy again.
Are y'all already planning out the kind of scratch 2020 off the board and planning for 2021?
I've got a few trips I'm going to make between now and the end of the year, and they're not big event trips. They're going to be trips to teams that we sponsor and gather up content and do
Hmm.
recipes um and so I still got several things I'm going to do between now and the end of the year. Of course, we're fixing to have the process come back up here pretty soon of the teams applying for sponsorship for next year.
Hmm.
Um, so that's on the doorstep, and that's going to be a lot of work between now and the end of the year, getting those figured out and doing that, and that's a big and important part of my job is getting the right teams to represent us, and that way we we're both benefiting from it.
Okay, just in case somebody, you know, during these times, I don't know about you, but I have cleaned out the freezer a couple times, and you go way in the back, way back there, and where you haven't been in years. And if somebody goes back in their freezer or goes down in their deep well freezer, and they go, huh, alligator, I didn't know we had that, honey. Let's thaw
Mm.
that out and let's cook it. Let's get the Craig Verhaga barbecue recipe for alligator.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, I've got what I do now. Malcolm's got it from beginning to end on how to barbecue right. Our Royal Oak YouTube page has got how I do an alligator from start to finish, and it's also got the recipe for my alligator rolls. I mean, I do not only the alligator itself, but I do a stuffing that's a combination of jalapeno boudin, cream cheese, bacon bits, and spicy ranch dressing, and actually put that on a hot dog bun, and then sprinkle the alligator over the top of that to make, I call it a redneck lobster roll,
Hmm.
but yeah, so you got a lot of places you can go, or my Facebook business page. I got a couple of recipes for alligator on there too. So you got some access to
What
find out
what
what to do with that.
what temperature do you cook an alligator
On the pit that different temperatures to tell you the truth depends on the pit. The one we did with Malcolm, I think that pit ran about 275.
at? Hmm.
But yeah, I've cooked it at 225 on an old hickory pit DW. Just took a little longer, and the internal temperature, it's like a pork loin, around 160 to 165, and then when I glaze it with the blowtorch and I do that, it usually brings it up to about 170 serving temperature.
Do you spritz it while you're smoking it?
Yeah,
Spritz? No spritz.
that's grits. Um,
Incredible.
and
Incredible.
now it is beneficial, and I do recommend to brine it overnight. And Malcolm, he made up a wonderful. He used his uh, king craw. I think that's his
Yeah.
Cajun
Hmm.
rub, and he also used a little bit of crawfish boil and did that overnight in that liquid. And man, it was a wonderful brine, and it tasted well.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get off those small bottles of that and get into the bigger ones. People come back and buy it at my store all the time. They go, that ain't enough. They'll grab 2 of them, and they're great on French fries too. So that's my daughter, the French fry connoisseur of Ooltewah. She's where's that Malcolm Reed stuff, Dad? She just wears it out, wears it out. Craig, what a great guy, what a great person to talk to, and it amazed me before we went on the air. We were talking about you. You spent a lot of time in Knoxville, where I'm from, and going up to your grandparents and spending summers up there. What part of Knoxville did they live in?
They lived, it's almost easier for me to describe where it is. It's like where the campus is. You go across the Cumberland Bridge, and I guess it's the older part of town over
South
there.
Knoxville, yeah.
South Knoxville, that's it.
Out Chapman Highway.
Lived on, off Chapman Highway. Lived on South Haven Road.
Yep.
So I'm not familiar with a particular road, but yeah, it was off Chapman Highway and in the South Knoxville. I always remember going across that bridge and that hospital being right there on the left, but also looking back across the river and Neyland Stadium sitting right there. Yep.
Been there a long time.
Yeah, I sure have.
A long time. Craig, thank you so much, man. It's just been such a pleasure talking with you. Thanks for taking the time. I'm almost glad we're in 2020 because I have a funny feeling that if we weren't in the times that we are now, you probably wouldn't have time to take with me. So I'm lucky in that respect.
Well, I'll always take the time, and I have a lot more to my story and a lot more we can talk about. So let's do it again.
We'll do it again. And tell people where they can go to find the Barbecue Ninja.
All right, on Instagram, I'm at the BBQ Ninja. On Facebook business page, I'm at the BBQ Ninja, and on Twitter, I'm at the_BBQ_Ninja, and that's my social media there. And I've got a YouTube page, but I have not yet built it. But it is in the plans to start working on that. It's only one of me, and I just hadn't had enough hours in the day yet to get that up and going, but there's plans for it.
Well, if you ever need help in making a thumbnail for your videos, I'm your guy. I'm the thumbnail expert. I'm the thumbnail expert now.
All right. Don't tell me that and not mean it now.
I can do it. Craig, thank you so much. The Barbecue Ninja right there coming to you live. Have a good evening, Craig. We appreciate you. The Barbecue Ninja coming to you live from Greenville, Mississippi. I guess that's in the Delta area of Mississippi. Thank you so much, Craig VERHAGE, the Barbecue Ninja. What a great guy! And isn't it strange how when you start talking with someone, how your paths have crossed, and you never met them, or you never even saw them, but you were literally within a mile of each other during times of your life, and you never knew it. You may not think that's fascinating, but I do think that's really, really cool. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening tonight. We'll be back next Thursday. Don't forget, if you're in the Ooltewah area, if you're traveling back and forth in Ooltewah, the Owl's Nest barbecue stores right there on exit 11. And we got stuff. I think we got stuff in that store. We've got rubs. You see all the different logos that are around on all the different screens. Those are all the people. I know it looks like NASCAR, but those are all the people that have things in my store, and I appreciate them so much. They're great to work with, and every one of these guys that sell their products, they don't want to do anything but help you, and they've given people like me instructions how to use their products, and we'll be glad to pass it on to you. So if you're struggling on a specific protein or a method or anything, come on in. We'll get you straightened out, and we'll get you down the path to good food. And we've got other stuff. We got stuff like this. This came in just last week. This is from the Grill Grate Company. This is their griddle. It's an aluminum griddle. You put it on. You can actually put it on top of the grill grates. If you use grill grates, you can put it on top of the grill grates. That makes the best heat. And also, you can flip it over. And if you're defrosting something, you put it on that side, and it makes the defrosting process about a third faster than if you just laid it on the counter. So stuff like that, that's what we got. We got the complete line of grill grates. And also I want to thank my buddy Kevin Sandridge over at the Barbecue Beat for reminding me that Robert Moss's book, the second edition of The Barbecue, A History of American Institution, is out. I got my copy, I think it was last, what is it, third? I think it was about a week ago. My copy came in the mail. And if you are interested in barbecue, if you're interested in the history of barbecue, make sure you pick up Robert Moss's Barbecue, The History of an American Institution. He has added stories. He has added tidbits in this. And he has added things, and there's great stories of all kinds of pit masters. There's great stories of African American pit masters from the 20s and 30s that they started this whole barbecue thing, and those stories are, I think, the most interesting. So pick up your copy of Barbecue, The History of an American Institution, wherever your favorite books are bought. Now we're gonna have to go. I got to get out of here. I appreciate everybody watching, and I appreciate everybody listening. Don't forget, Tennessee, South Carolina are Saturday night at 7:30 if you're in our area. If you're watching in Atlanta, if you're watching Knoxville, Nashville, west, we'll say Bryson City area over North Carolina, we're not that far. We're right there in Ooltewah on 1164 Lee Highway, right off the interstate. Come on by. We've got the Green Mountain Grills. I've got the Jim Bowie's. We've got the Daniel Boone's. We've got the Choice. We've got the Prime Plus, all in stock. We've got tons of grills in stock, and we already have them built and assembled for you, and they're ready to go. And we've got all the accessories for them, and we'd love to see you come in and get a Green Mountain Grill, and I'll have you cooking before Saturday afternoon. When you do, you can be the star of the tailgate show. That's right. You can do it with a Green Mountain Grill, and I'll show you how. And until next Thursday, I'm trying to get Robert Moss, the guy that wrote that book. I'm trying to get him on for next Thursday. I don't know if I'll be successful, but that's where we're heading right now. But everybody, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. And as we always agree, good night and good luck.
You're like the cool guy in my phone, just so you know. So.